Welcome back to Alive and Well's Daily Dose, your daily dose of support. And today, our important topic that we're going to be discussing is coping skills. Now, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want to recognize that there are a lot of things we can proactively do to care for and manage our mental well being. And so today, to join us in this very important conversation, we have Lori with us, who's going to be sharing all about various coping skills and talking about the importance of utilizing them during this time of high stress. So, Lori, thank you so much for joining us and sharing this important
Yeah,
information. We're really excited that you're here with us today. And I just want to take an opportunity to share a little bit about you with our viewers.
okay, cool.
So Lori is a licensed clinical social worker, and she's been serving children, adolescents, and their families since 1989. In addition, Lori's worked in a number of different settings, including community mental health, long-term inpatient services, as well as in family service agencies, and now in private practice. Lori's also trained in EMDR, and she's been an EMDR therapist since 2000, and she's also the lead coordinator for the Greater St. Louis Trauma Recovery Network, and the co-coordinator of the St. Louis EMDR Network, as well as a nationally certified consultant and facilitator of EMDR. So, Lori, we are so excited that you're here with us to really share this important information about stress and how we can utilize coping strategies to really support ourselves during this time of COVID, and also with that recognition of May being Mental Health Awareness Month. So
Okay.
thank you so very, very much. Now, I want to say we know that there are all different types of stress people may be experiencing. Can you share a little bit more about that with us?
Sure. So thank you, Sean, and I'm so happy to be here to talk about coping skills in a time of uncertainty. So to get started, I am going to talk about challenges we collectively face with COVID-19, dealing with uncertainty and grief, and skills we can put into place to better help us cope. So, as the COVID-19 pandemic sweeps across the world, it's causing widespread concern, fear, and stress, all of which are natural and normal reactions to the changing and uncertain situation everyone finds themselves in. The issue facing each of us is how do we manage and react to the stressful situations unfolding so rapidly in our lives and our communities? Our concerns about COVID-19 are about possible dangers in the present and future. And for the past few months, we've heard things like practice social distancing, flatten the curve, shelter at home. And these actions have become defining aspects of our lives as means of understanding and coping with this surreal time. This unprecedented moment has resulted in heightened emotions, ups and downs, and worries and fears, and a constant state of dread. While there have been positive aspects for some of us, like slowing down, spending time with ourselves, reconnecting with our loved ones and families, it also has had a downside. We've called it stress, but it's much more than stress. We've been adapting to a new worldview, either working from home, going to work, homeschooling our children, partnering, parenting. And as we know, stress can affect our bodies, causing many symptoms like headaches, stomach aches, trouble breathing, panic attacks, trouble sleeping, appetite issues. And for many of us, we feel tired and even burned out. And yesterday, when I was working with some families, they talked about parenting fatigue. And that means just parenting difficulties they may have with trying to work and parent toddlers and preschoolers, or trying to motivate school-age children to complete work, and trying to make sure that their high schoolers are getting up before noon to be able to get on calls or Zoom calls and turning their work in on time. And the simple things like going to the grocery store, which was very easy for us several months ago, can now be challenging for us as we work to try to keep ourselves safe as well as our essential workers safe. Stress can affect our thoughts about ourselves and others. We can have trouble concentrating. We can have a negative state of mind. We can have some bad thoughts, too much to think about, or even blanking out on things that we normally were able to accomplish. And it can also impact our emotions, heightening our anxiety, anger, fear, helplessness, hopelessness, and frustration. And as Alive and Well has talked about in their trainings, the structural inequities and discrimination further contribute to this cumulative stress. So we're dealing with prolonged uncertainty. So when will this end? What will our new normal look like? People are dealing with job loss, facing salary reductions, limited food. And when can we ever leave our homes, see our loved ones, and visit with friends? As things begin to open up now, what does the new normal look like? How can we go out and engage in our normal activities, thinking about social distancing, which is difficult? We're dealing with what Esther Perel calls ambiguous loss, the sense that we've lost so many things in our normal life that we can hardly recognize what we're missing. We may have lost loved ones. We may have felt the loss of events not happening, like birthdays, graduations, proms, weddings, funerals. The loss can be cumulative, and this cumulative events can stack up and result in trauma. We are not used to this collective grief. So Esther Perel also talks about anticipatory grief, the worry or realization that we could lose our loved ones. For those of us in isolation, in quarantine, we're grieving the loss of connection, being able to be there for our loved ones. So how can we cope? We need to be able to access our brain and body's own healing powers, finding the ability to maintain hope and meaning in a time of uncertainty and crisis. Lawrence Calhoun calls this post-traumatic growth, finding our ability to turn life's negative aspects into positive ones. We need to access our self-resilience and find the things that we can control. We can draw on our remarkable powers of strength, courage, and cooperation that we possess as humans. And as Sean mentioned, that we are thinking now about Mental Health Month, and it's important to recognize how our body and mind are connected, and this can give information to us about our stress level. And while it's normal to feel sad, scared, confused, angry, frustrated, it's important to reach out to others, including healthcare workers, counselors, therapists, if we're feeling suicidal or engaging in self-harming behaviors. We want to make sure that we avoid smoking, using alcohol or drugs, or overdoing it with any kind of technology, which includes video games, in order to manage our emotions. So some of the skills that we will be learning today can help reduce some of those negative feelings and increase calmness and sense of control. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those strategies that we can use to support you.
I'm so excited to be learning about these strategies, especially because you talked about all those different types of stress and grief. And I think sometimes we don't even have the language to be able to fully identify it because we feel it so complexly. And
Right.
so sometimes we're unable to sort through everything. And so I think giving name to the prolonged uncertainty, the participatory grief, is really powerful and helpful. So I'm excited to learn about these strategies that we can use.
Sure. So first we're going to think about just acknowledging the challenges. You know, these are difficult. These are difficult times. It's difficult homeschooling. We can be grateful to our teachers and our healthcare workers for being able to take care of our children. And it's difficult, especially if you're a single parent, trying to balance a work situation and take care of maybe little ones or school-age children, or even motivating your high schoolers. So it's really difficult. While we acknowledge the challenge, we want to be able to, again, try to focus on some of those positive things, like I can learn to deal with this. Okay, this is difficult, but I can learn how to deal with it. There are things that I can control. We want to be able to remind ourselves that by staying at home, we're doing something really important for ourselves and our loved ones and our communities. The second thing is to identify the things that we can control. While there's so many things in our life that we're unable to control, we can control some of those small things, like establishing a good routine for ourselves, having good sleep habits, exercise, going out, like today's a beautiful day, going out for a walk, going out, spending time outside in the garden, just sitting on your patio, creating some kinds of routine as far as when meals are prepared, that kind of thing. The third thing is creating a sense of safety for ourselves and our loved ones. While there's lots of things that may create unsafe environments, we want to be able to have places that we can go in our house where we can just curl up if we need to, with a blanket and a pillow and essential oils or tea, and create sort of a cocoon to make ourselves feel safe. Sometimes while being home may be positive, it also, for those of us who are struggling in relationships, we can also have issues with intimacy and being disconnected from family members and feeling unsafe. And if we are feeling unsafe, it's important to reach out to some of the local hotlines, because increase in domestic violence can happen. And so we want to make sure that we're reaching out to some resources that might be helpful to us. Connecting with others and connecting through our support system. So we want to be able to use some technology or even letter writing, going on social distancing walks, reaching out to family, friends through technology, through the phone, even just old-fashioned letter writing for grandparents can be really helpful, because we want to engage that support system that can be so vital for us. We want to be able to volunteer. So just to get us out of our own heads and to be able to think about other people. So maybe it's volunteering at a food pantry, or even volunteering just to pick up your neighbor's mail or get some extra groceries or water some plants. So all those things can be positive to help us. And then finally, we want to engage in some positive self-care. So we want to be able to create some boundaries for ourselves between work and our home life. And a lot of times work right now will bleed into our home life, where we're staying up till 9, 10 o'clock, finishing up those work emails. We want to create that safe, sacred space with our families. And there's lots of different things that you can do for self-care, like going for walks, getting involved in your hobbies, being able to connect with other people. And also we want to think about a couple of positive things, like engaging in play. So doing fun things with kids, going on walks, going on bike rides, whatever we can do. And also engaging in humor, because laughter is really important as a positive coping strategy, whether it's, doing silly TikTok videos, or, just going out and writing, doing silly chalk drawings on the street or driveway and writing different things. All those kinds of things can be fun and silly and important in terms of counteracting a lot of the stress that we're dealing. So that's it with the strategies. And next I was going to move into some of those self-soothe exercises.
Wonderful.
Okay, so I guess, Sean, you'll be my guinea pig for the self-soothe exercises.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to start with is some abdominal breathing. Okay, so just get yourself comfortable. And you can either close your eyes or you can just look down or look at a spot on the wall or down at the floor. And put one hand on your belly and imagine that you have a balloon inside. Now inhale and gently see how the balloon grows and moves your hand upward. And now you can exhale slowly and gently and see how that balloon deflates and how your hand goes down. So inhale and notice how the balloon grows and moves your hand upward. And exhale and see how that balloon deflates and your hand goes down. And put all your attention in that. And if anything distracts you, you can gently return to the exercise. Inhaling and exhaling. Now I'd like you to take some time just to think about your breathing. Notice when you're inhaling and say to yourself, I'm inhaling. And then notice when you're exhaling and say to yourself, I'm exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. And allow your attention to focus on your breath for a while longer, gently bringing yourself back, if you are distracted, to the inhaling and exhaling of your breath. Now I'd like you to remember a time when you were calm or peaceful. It can be a simple moment, like sitting out on your patio, or going for a walk, or baking cookies with your grandma. And put your hand on your chest and allow all those good feelings and positive sensations expand throughout your body. Just notice all those good feelings and positive sensations expand throughout your body. And allow your attention to focus on those good feelings and sensations for a while longer. Bringing yourself back, if you are distracted, to the peaceful and calm feelings that you're having. Just notice those peaceful and calm feelings. And as you open your eyes, you can just remember that in the future, all you have to do to bring back the memory is just to put your hand over the center of your chest. And then there's one more thing I'd like to share with you. It's called the butterfly hug. So you're going to cross your hands and with your middle fingers kind of pointed up like this. And then you're just going to slowly and gently move your fingers back and forth, taking some deep breaths. And just notice all the calm feelings in your body and how it's relaxing. And then just notice some of the good feelings and kind of sights and sounds and smells and sensations that you're feeling as you gently move your fingers back and forth. And you can use this as a way of just calming yourself if you're just feeling really overwhelmed. You can imagine putting all of those difficult thoughts and feelings and emotions into clouds, and then putting them in clouds one at a time, and then just having them float away. And if you get distracted, don't judge yourself, just notice. And just put those thoughts up into the clouds and let them float away. And when you're ready, you can put your hands down and open up your eyes.
I have to say the abdominal or the belly breathing is something I really use when I find that, like, when I'm trying to go to sleep and my mind just seems full and overwhelmed and racing and unable to turn off about what I didn't get done today or what I need to do tomorrow. That just really helps me to focus on something else and allow my body to start that process of relaxing and starting to help my mind to slow down and recognize it's in that bedtime space and that.
That's good, yeah.
So I find that, some of these just really, really help to work to help us either to sleep or when we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed or
Right,
any number of emotions. So
right. Exactly. And this can also be very helpful for children and teenagers. With children, they can put a stuffed animal on their belly and watch it rise and fall, which is kind of fun for them. So there's lots of different things. We can put music to it also, and it can be really helpful as well.
yeah. And the butterfly hug is not one I typically use, but it's something to remember to incorporate, just allowing that, you know, my body to feel that gentleness, but also feel
Mhm.
that security of my arms around myself.
Right, right. It's like wrapping yourself up in a big hug and blanket, especially now when we really need that. Um, So yeah, it
Absolutely.
can be really helpful. It can be really helpful. So just I wanted to share one more thing about just where to get some help if you need it now. So I'm part of the EMDR community, and for what we have for first responders and essential workers is we have our Greater St. Louis Trauma Recovery Network, which is part of a local emergency response, which provides a network of licensed mental health professionals that are skilled in EMDR therapy. And EMDR therapy, and I'll just give you a brief, very brief overview of that, is just research-based. It's a form of psychotherapy that enables people to heal from symptoms of emotional distress that are the result of disturbing experiences. And EMDR accesses the brain's natural healing processes that enables individuals to move towards health. So if you are and we can, as part of our trauma recovery network, we can provide up to 6 pro bono sessions for individuals who are on the front lines of the COVID-19 response. So you can go to our website, stlemdr.com. As part of Mental Health Awareness Month, if you're not a first responder or essential worker, you have options as well. You can check with your insurance to see if there's a list of providers that may be in your network. You can reach out to your healthcare professionals like doctors, nurses, or any family members who may have had some counseling in the past. and get some names and numbers of providers. And if you don't have insurance, there are lots of local agencies, nonprofit agencies, as well as family service agencies in your community that can help. And if you need more information about that, you can go to our website, and there's information on how you can contact me, and I can just give you a list of those family service agencies. And if you're in crisis, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, Lifeline, and there it is in the banner. Or you can use the crisis help line by texting home to 741-741.
Thank you. And thank you so much to the Greater St. Louis Recovery Network for taking such good care of our first responders and essential workers who are out there, helping to keep our community alive and well, and wanting to recognize that, in doing so, there's a toll on their well-being. And so to ensure their prolonged,
Right.
continued well-being, thank you so much to you and the Greater St. Louis Trauma Recovery Network for providing such an important and valuable service to our first responders.
Yeah, we're happy to do it. We're really grateful to all of them for being able to take such good care of all of us, which is great. And thank you, Sean, for inviting me to be part of the Daily Dose. I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you so much for all the knowledge and wisdom that you shared, giving name to maybe some of the different feelings that we're experiencing at this time. It's really crucial for us to be able to identify that, as well as recognize that we have strategies we can use to care for ourselves during this time.
Right.
And so as we continue to build out that self-care toolkit, recognizing how those coping skills and strategies are just such a vital component of that. So, Lori, thank you so much for tuning in. I know you're very busy, so we so greatly appreciate your time and all the wisdom you shared with us. For those of you who are joining us live or after the fact, your daily challenge is going to be to make sure that you try out just one of these coping strategies to support yourselves. We want to recognize that those feelings of stress are normal during this time. And it's also important to recognize what tools can I use to take care of myself. So what we want to do in continuing to build out that self-care toolkit is we want to encourage you to try one of these great skills that Lori shared with us today to show yourself that compassion and nurture that stress away. As usual, we encourage you to share this daily dose with anyone in your network who could use a daily dose of support. And remember, couldn't we all use a daily dose of support? So, Lori, thank you in helping us share Mental Health Month and some great tools. And we will be providing all of those resources that you named in the information below this video. So for those of you who are first responders and would like to access that resource, please, we empower you to do so, because taking care of you is so crucial as you take care of others. And then we'll also be sure to post that lifeline, as well as that texting helpline. So thank you to our viewers, a special thank you to Lori, and we'll see everyone back here for another episode of the Daily Dose tomorrow. We're looking forward to having you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.